for Toffoli. Here comes Tyler Toffoli again. Drago through the lane. Back in. Scores! Oh, baby, what a goal! Did you see that move? Tyler Toffoli, second of the...
And after 22 years, Raymond Moore! And then Ronaldo! What a goal by Cristiano Ronaldo! Sensational!
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sports Junkies podcast, episode 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Unofficially, I think we're at episode 6, but it's fine. Officially, episode 4. We're here coming at you on Saturday, March 27th in 2021, and we're excited because, since there were no Habs games this week, we thought we'd do a redraft of the NHL draft in 2015, which is Franco and mine's draft year. Those of you born in 97, you'd be familiar as well. So we thought it was pretty cool. You know, we have 5 seasons, 6 seasons under their belts now. These are guys that we could start to judge and start to redraft. I mean, anything later than that is kind of a little bit iffy. And even there's some draft picks in 2015, as you're going to see, that there's still some upside to be had.
They have the potential to become good.
Yeah. There's still 23 for the most part. So before we get to that, big news coming out of Montreal today, literally recently, about an hour ago. Signing of the highly touted prospect, Mr. Cole Caufield, who just finished his NCAA season, entry-level contract for 3 years. Frank, what do you think?
It's good. I'm happy that he signed finally. I was hoping he wasn't going to do an extra year at Wisconsin like Jordan Harris. He's Harris is on his 4th year. Yeah. He wants to finish school, which I understand. That's good, bro. Go finish school. Yeah. Gotta get an education.
He's also a defenseman.
Yeah.
Usually takes longer to develop a defenseman.
Yeah.
Plus, Northeastern probably also told him, hey, you're going to be captain next year if you come back.
Yeah, but the problem
there's
is
some
now,
things,
What Harris is that if we don't sign him at the end of the season next year, he's a UFA. He's unrestricted.
I'm not too worried. To be honest with you, I'm not too worried.
There's been a couple defensemen in the past that got drafted and they went and signed with someone else. Like John Marino.
Yeah, Adam Fox, I think too.
No, it was Justin Schultz.
Justin Schultz. Yeah, there were a couple guys that got drafted that didn't end up with their team. But honestly, Jordan Harris, I'm not worried because I actually know that there's connections in there because I know that Bergevin and the team talks to his management team and they're very involved in his development. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that they said, hey, listen, we can get 3 full years out of him. Let's do whatever, and then they probably said on the back end we'll give him some performance bonuses or something like that.
I'm good with that.
But yeah, in terms of Cole Caufield, which is obviously the main story of today, I think it's a no-brainer for the Hobie Baker, which is for those of you who don't know, the MVP basically of the NCAA season, 30 goals in 31 games. I'm not really pretty much. Yeah, it's the Heisman or the Hart Memorial or any of the MVP trophies in any leagues. I think it's Cole Caufield easily. I don't see anybody else really challenging him. Holloway maybe, but I mean, I really think that Cole Caufield drives more play on that team than Holloway does, obviously.
He was the reason for the team they went so far.
Yeah, I mean, almost single-handedly.
It was a goal a game. He was literally
goals.
A goal a game.
It was just, and it wasn't like nothing goals. Like they're like some of them big goals. Like he scored in the quarterfinals and semifinals, both, and in the finals.
He won.
No, actually, I don't think he scored in the finals. Did he score in the finals of his conference?
The Frozen 10?
No, the Big Ten.
The Big Ten. So yeah,
I think he
scored
did
the OT winner.
I mean, he's scoring goals, and no, they lost in the finals. So the semifinals, he scored the OT goal, maybe. I don't know. He's been scoring big goals for a long time.
Confusing in the States.
My because you're not used to that system. My hope is that he's able to turn pro. He's able to be consistent. He's able to put some meat on.
Yeah.
And hopefully his shot is able to beat NHL goaltenders. I think that's my biggest worry. But I think his shot's just unbelievable. So
we'll see in Laval.
Like I always tell you, I hope he's more of a Kyle Connor than a Jimmy Vesey, which are two guys that came out of the NCAA of their junior year. So I'm hoping that's more of a Kyle Connor, or a good.
Did they win the Baker?
I'm not sure. One of them.
I think VC did.
Maybe VC did. I know Gaudreau did. Johnny Hockey, I believe, did as well.
Yes, even Goddard.
So if you're looking at guys like that, then that's the hope.
Yeah.
In other Habs news, big trade. Well, big trade. I mean, I'd say a depth trade.
La Copa Montreal.
I think it could be an important deal down the road. in this season. Eric Staal making his way to Montreal wearing number 21, as you called it, not as I called it. So giving you props there. You called 21. I think I called 84. I think was
84
was what I called because of his birth year. But yeah, what do you think about Eric Staal? I mean,
it's a good
veteran
signing.
guy.
Pretty much, we got him for free.
Yeah, I mean, those are two.
It was
I was
free.
going to mention they're two draft picks that we have. We
It's
had
not
3
even
thirds
ours.
and 3 fifths.
Yeah,
and I don't believe they were ours either. So we basically gave away picks that we got for other people.
Plus, plus Buffalo retained 50% of his.
Plus Buffalo retains 50%. Apparently, that was the key in the deal. So
yeah, obviously we had no choice. That was the only way Montreal was making a deal. Is the other team had to retain some amount of salary, and Bergevin said it had to be 50 or else nothing. Yeah. We were literally up there in cap, and I'm surprised Buffalo did not ask for a second, because that's what I was scared of. I was scared. I was like, for Montreal, we're gonna ask for sure to retain salary. Any team is gonna ask for a second. If you have to retain salary, they're gonna ask for a second. And
I mean, there might be another deal on the way. Who knows? There might be another deal with Buffalo on the way. I don't know. I'm trying to push.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I don't know the way Bergevin was talking this morning. He had a press conference this morning.
Yeah, I know. But Bergevin said this morning, "I'm not looking to make any cap trade moves." He also said, "I don't want to tell the fans what I'm doing because it would be disadvantageous to the Montreal Canadiens." I think, much like a "I'm not trading PK Subban" kind of situation, I think he's just open to any type of way to improve his team, and I don't blame him.
Listen, even this morning, they like 4 or 5 reporters asked him about Cole Caufield. He had the biggest smile on his face.
Yeah, and he said something like, "Come back and ask me the question.
Come back to me in a couple of days." Right there, I knew something's up.
Of course,
they're gonna sign him.
Of course. So that's a good press conference for the Canadiens. I think in general with our prospect pool, I think it's one of the better ones in the NHL. I think we're heading in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if it isn't this year that they really want to push for a run, I think it could happen in the next couple of years. I don't think it's a complete, all word. It's never going to happen. I also think that when you have a ton of prospects, the other advantageous part of that is that you can move them.
Yeah.
Who says you don't move Cole Caufield at some point? If he's there as a prospect, he's got a ton of value. What happens if he gets to the NHL and he only scores 15 goals? Or only scores 10. You get what I'm saying? So it's very possible that some of these guys will have more value as prospects than they will as players for us. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I think we have a good prospect pool. I think we spent enough time on this because the draft is going to take a little while. I do want to cover the F1 just before we move on, because we are the sports junkies, and I am an F1 fan. I'm going to be following a lot more this year than I was last year. Bahrain International Grand Prix starting tomorrow, 11 a.m., I believe, Eastern.
Where is it?
In Bahrain.
Where the hell's that?
It's in the Middle East.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much always the first one. I'm not sure if the schedule. I think the schedule is a little bit different than usual, again because of COVID and all that stuff. But I'll share my screen so everybody could see the starting grid positions. So Max Verstappen today with a literal massive lap at the end, literally his last lap, 128.9. We're the only one under 129 in the whole group, so he definitely merits the pole position. Hamilton and Bottas, obviously Mercedes, in my opinion, still the best car this year. I do think there was a little bit of sandbagging going on in the testing where they didn't really show their full hand, which is fine. It happens all the time. People are always, every year, is like, oh my God, is Ferrari not going to be great? Is Mercedes not going to be? Is Red Bull? My God, Red Bull looks horrible in practice. And then they get to the first qualifying and they just torch everyone. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. But that's okay. Charles Leclerc, for you Ferrari fans, very, very solid qualifying. He only did one lap in Q3 and got him into 4th place. And if you look at the top 7 here, it's all within 1 second of each other and all under 1 minute and 30 seconds. So really, if you're an F1 fan, this is going to be a very, very good race to watch. Ricciardo, one of my favorites pretty much of all time, in 6th, Pierre Gasly in 5th, Lando Norris with McLaren in 7th, and Carlos Sainz with some engine problems in Q2, I believe. Kind of just stopped, but he already had a lap in, which was good, so he was able to get into the pit, get into the garage, and then go out for Q3 because he had a good enough lap to get through that Q2. Fernando Alonso, just a beast, coming back in with Alpine. I used to say Alpine, but then I heard today that people were saying Alpine. That's how you pronounce it. So we're going to say Alpine, new team. And then our Canadian boy from Montreal, Lance Stroll in 10th place with Aston Martin. He had a very, 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 very solid qualifying as well. He was 4/10 off, but I think he's got a shot to be in the top 10 for sure. I don't think there's a question anymore. And honestly, he's been growing on me. I didn't like him at the beginning. I thought he was very jerky with the wheel, wasn't as smooth, but he's been very good. So that's your top 10 starting positions for tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know if you're not really a big F1 follower, but maybe tomorrow morning if you're up in time, you might be able to watch it.
Yeah, we'll see. I might put it on. There's no hockey, so I gotta follow something.
Yeah. Basically, there's no hockey, so you gotta follow something. Yeah. Speaking of, I do have the Canadian schedule. So before we get to the draft, let me do this. So basically, from what I understand today, from a tweet from I believe Eric Engels,
we should be back on the ice on Monday.
I believe we should be back on the ice on Monday, assuming that everything ends up being negative. Yeah. So that means that we're going a week plus without practice. Which isn't very encouraging.
This is like wild.
No legs. You might not have any legs on Tuesday, but we are supposed to be playing in Ottawa. As far as we know, it's going to be happening.
I have a feeling we're going to get demolished that game.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. It is away. They did have a week off. You know, maybe the rest did them some good.
Ottawa, the way they play, they're very in your face. They don't stop.
Yeah, and honestly, Ottawa hasn't been playing that bad. They've got 28 points. They're about 9.
Oh, they're climbing.
They're 9 points out of a playoff spot. They've just been knocking off everybody that we.
I thought by this point they would be like around like the 16, 17 point range.
Yeah.
28 points.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing.
I give them credit.
So let me share my screen. Frank, I could give you permission to share yours too. But I feel like that's going to be complicated.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can just, let's see. Okay. So, as you can tell, Franco has Connor McDavid as the number 1 pick.
Yeah. I put him number 1.
I don't think that's a surprise. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I think what we're going to do is go through your top 5 and then go through my top 5, and then we'll just do like 10 at a time afterwards. So once we get through there you go. Once we get through your top 5, so then number 2, Jack Eichel. So your 1 and 2 stay the same.
Oh, what the fuck?
Your 1 and 2 stay the same.
Yeah, those are my 2 where I thought they easily went 1 and 2. Those are easy.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I don't see why I think that's okay. Mitch Marner is your 3rd pick.
Yeah. Marner goes 3rd over Dylan Strome.
Yeah.
I think Marner just is much. He's just been a dominant.
He's more dynamic.
Player.
He's just been done. Yeah. He's been good. He's been good since he walked in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just he's been more like comfortable to the NHL. He's been producing. He should have went 3rd. I'm surprised he dropped to 4th.
I think the question was his size.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, the guys, you'll see on my draft board, I actually have some points and points per game up. I mean, the kid's point per game since he's been in the league. So
yeah, he's crazy. Also like he was playing on a better.
Of course, you're playing on a better team, than Dylan Strome or whatever. Yeah. But still, I mean, Dylan Strome kind of got done dirty a little bit in this draft because you're gonna see. I mean, at least on mine, he drops quite a bit on mine. Yeah. Okay, number 4, Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with this.
Yeah, 100% agree with this. If I'm mistaken, he went like what? 7th,
I believe he went 8th.
Yeah,
you'll see it on mine too. I believe I believe I have the same top 4 as you.
I saw that. I was shocked. Sure. I was pretty shocked. I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean the guy. He's big. He's big. He's fast. He's strong. Hands, he skates. He has hands. He shoots. He's unbelievable. This guy is honestly one of the most. Literally one of the most skilled offensive guys in our league, in my opinion. And he's got power. Like a lot of these other guys, like McDavid's got power in the sense that he's got speed. Like it's not the same as like physical.
Eichel
overpowering.
Too. I don't know, Jack Eichel too if he wants to.
He's got strength on the puck. Mikko Rantanen just like ferocious, right? He goes around the ice like you're scared of this guy. He's massive.
He's sick.
He's a massive human being, and he's sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's any comparables, but I mean, he's really good. Matt Barzal.
Yeah, 5th. Him too was another sleeper in the the Islanders. What a sleeper pick.
17th or 16th.
21st.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was around there.
It was late. Yeah.
It was a late first. He's like he's your ideal.
I don't have him as high as number 5.
No,
but he's.
I
but
think
he's,
he should have been 5th. Easy.
He's
fifth.
great. I think the fact that he plays on a very defensive team doesn't do him justice, because I look at points and I'm like, yeah, but these guys produce a ton more, so I'd rather have
But
these guys on my team.
But he still puts.
But he still puts up numbers.
He could still
He's
score.
unbelievable. I mean, the goal he scored last week or
Like,
2
come
weeks ago
on.
was just unbelievable.
The one that comes in
his
on a
legs.
breakaway through his legs with the guy on
Yeah.
his back.
I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, the kid's unbelievable. I believe he's a top 10 in mine. I believe
He has
he's a
6
top 10.
speed.
Yeah, he's got
Great skater.
He's a great. Yeah, of course, he's a great
Very
player. I loved him.
responsible.
I watched him. I watched him play in the World Juniors. I said, this kid is special. He's a special kid. So yeah, I mean, I honestly,
This is my top
aside from
5.
Barzal, my top 4 I believe is the same. I'm gonna exit your screen.
Yeah.
I think you have to stop.
Yeah,
There's a thing that says stop sharing. Yeah, and then I'll share mine. Let's see. We're gonna do this back and forth. So I did like a kind of a blackout system over here. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My top 5.
Oh, you went 6. Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's because the first one is So
Okay.
so Edmonton, McDavid,
Mhm.
Eichel, Marner. Yeah, literally the same top 4, and I have
Yeah, you had Aho. Okay.
up 30 draft picks.
Yeah.
This kid was a second round pick. He's, I don't know, unbelievable. I just think, and it does not have to do with us trying to sign him.
Yeah,
I think
offer
I
sheet.
think
Is that an
he's
offer
just
sheet?
I think he's just unbelievable.
No, he's sick. He's a sick player.
I could be wrong, but I believe he has more games played than Barzal, which that also went into my calculations. Basically, the way I did it was, let's look at how many points per game. This is as a forward, obviously. And then let's look at the amount of games played, because if you're serviceable in the NHL, so you might not be the most talented player in the world, but a guy like Noah Hannafin, for example, has 400 plus games played already. Now, again, in this draft, I think I did him dirty. I don't think he should be as low as I have him. But just the fact that he played 400 plus games already I mean, just by itself merits a lot of credit, because you're talking about a guy who's 5 years in, and he's got almost every single game played since he's been in the league.
But he came right into the league. He played right away.
That's what I'm saying. So he's had almost every single season, not injured. I mean, he's had some inconsistency with his play, but I think he's a very solid defenseman. I think he's easily a top 4 defenseman in pretty much any team, and I think he still has room to grow. He's only 23, right? So, this is my top 5 with Aho as basically my biggest sleeper pick.
Yeah.
In the whole draft, I think he's probably the biggest sleeper pick, just because it's 30 picks later. That means every single team passed on him.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It's every single team. Like Barzal, yes, 20 teams passed on him. But every single team passed on Sebastian Aho, and he's got 0.86 points per game. He's got almost 300 points, over 340 games played. He scores goals, he makes assists, he makes great plays, and he's playing in an underrated market.
Mm-hmm. Carolina.
He reminds me a little bit of Barkov, not with the same type of play. I think he's more of a skater, less of a stick handler than Barkov is. But he's just, I don't know, an all-round great player, and he's a centerman, which also went into my decisions. Typically, I would take centerman before I take wingers. That's kind of how I did it. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to do
sorry, I'm just gonna finish on the Aho. The reason I put Barzal 1, I think I put 1 over, is because I just find Barzal more rounded. Like Aho, I don't know. He's good. He's a good player. But I just find Barzal maybe on the team that he plays with Barry Trotz maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's more of.
So I just found his overall game just better. Like,
could be. I think I just looked at Aho and I'm like, dude, this guy, there's no way he should have been the second round. And
no, for sure.
I had a really, really hard time going through the list and going, okay, but who do I take over Aho? Who do I take over Aho? It was really hard for me to do. So that's why I was like, you know what? Fuck it. He's a top 5 pick for me. What do you want me to do? 10? Let's do 10 at a time now?
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll do your 10 right after.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have Barzal at 8. And again, the only reason I have Barzal at 8 is because I really like these two players. Exactly. Honestly, otherwise he would be 6th. Barzal would be easily 6th. I just really like these two players, especially Provorov. I only put him down here because Werenski's more of a point producer. But Provorov is just I love watching him play. I love the way he skates, the way he moves.
Yeah, he's a good skater. He's all around. He's an all around. He could do anything. Defend, put points, skate, pass, shoot.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that again, his points per game, the lowest of all the people in my top 15.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just, I mean, I don't know. I just really liked him as a player. So, and it actually so happened that he was picked 7th. So he didn't move up or down. Werenski went up 2 for me. Again, Barzal still went up 8. Kyle Connor went up 8. This one is the one that I was like really.
Yeah, the tough.
I was like,
I don't
man,
know. I had him lower.
how many people do I take over Thomas Chabot? First of all, the other thing is, I have it burned into my head, the game that he played in the finals against the U.S. in the juniors, where he played 49 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like 49 minutes, and he did not make any mistakes. Like when I tell you he did not make any serious mistakes in 49 minutes of play. I mean, now in the NHL, obviously it's a different game, but I love the way he skates. Love the way he moves the puck. I love his attitude.
He's great offensive.
And I find that I could have probably put him higher than that.
For real?
If you have him, I mean, I love him. Like I think he's honestly, like honestly speaking, I think if he continues on the path that he is, he might be a better senator than Carlson was.
Oof.
That's how good I think this kid could be. That's really how good I think.
Carlson almost put up like 60, 70 points.
But but look at the team. He has no team.
Yeah, I know.
At least Carlson had some guys who could play. Like this guy's got now. Once people start coming in, once people start playing well and better, and once they get that youth up, I think he'll be able to do that. 60 points, 70 points. I don't think it's unbelievable that he does that. And then then you go through the list. Brock Besser, super goal scorer. I mean, that's why I put him there. I mean, look at this. I was like, you know what? Konechny, I'll put him right after Chabot. But then I'm like, dude, Besser has 91 goals in like 100 less games.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just as a producer, I think he's just a better producer. So imagine Brock Besser on Florida.
He's probably the best scorer. Yeah, that would have been crazy.
It's unreal. I think he's one of the best pure shooters with Kyle Connor maybe in this draft.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all these guys are just all-round talents, right?
If you exclude them, like after them, you would say like Besser and Connor are the 2 best scorers after that. Natural.
Yeah, I think so. Naturally. Yeah. Travis Konechny, great player. He went up 12 for me.
Yeah.
Timo Meier.
Solid.
Timo Meier was picked higher.
He was 9th.
He was picked 9th or 8th or something like that.
9th by San Jose.
He's obviously a first-round pick. I don't think there's
yeah.
But I had him a little bit lower. Anthony Cirelli is probably one of the other guys that I'm like, oh, dude, this kid is unreal, and he jumped up a lot. I think honestly, again,
I think it's more of the way he plays.
Yeah, and I think he's just a great two-way center. And again, he's a centerman. So if he was a winger, he'd probably be in the 20s.
Yeah, late.
But he's a centerman, and he produces points. I mean, he's not point per game.
He was a big reason for their cup run.
But he's huge in the cup run.
Big reason.
Yeah,
he helped them a lot.
Scored some important goals. And look at this. Imagine having these 3 players on Boston.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That's what
I don't know how.
I was like, imagine having this
draft.
line. Like literally, they would have a line of Timo Meier, Cirelli, and DeBrusque. I mean, DeBrusque they already have.
Yeah.
But imagine this line behind Bertrand Pasternak. I mean,
how do you fuck up? How do you fuck up with 3 picks, one after another, and you?
And by the way, their other 2 picks are not even in my draft.
Oh no.
Not even in my draft.
Neither.
Like it's
not in the first.
All right, let me stop sharing. Let me see your next 10. You can share your screen too. But I mean, is there anything that surprised you in that? Yeah, I mean we're.
So let me go.
That's okay. You're okay like this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So we had after Barzal, right?
Yeah, so right there. How many? 1,
so
2,
yeah, I
3,
put
4,
Connor
5,
right.
6,
I put
7, 8, 9. Perfect. You have 10 there.
So like the way I did my draft was I kind of like looked at what the teams drafted and their needs. So I kind of like did my draft based on that.
You did even more about that than I did because I didn't at all.
I did a balance of both. So like
I like this.
How the guy performs and also what the team needed at that moment. So I put Connor 6th.
Dude, that would have been.
I found New Jersey needed like a scorer, and he was the best scoring available guy there.
Yeah. So I have him at 9, and you have him at 6.
Yeah. So then Philly, I put Ao. I had no choice because he couldn't drop anymore.
How many more guys can you put before him? That's what I'm saying. Like crazy.
I put Ivan Provorov.
Yeah.
I said I find he's the best defenseman in that draft in the first round.
I think so. I think Shabbat
in
has
my
the potential
opinion.
to be better.
Yeah, he has the
I think
potential to be
Shabbat
better.
has more
The
let's say
upside.
ceiling and
Yeah,
upside. But Provorov is going to be a solid defenseman for a long time.
yeah. The reason I picked him is because he's reliable in both ends.
Yeah,
So I think he's the safe pick, right?
that makes sense.
He's the safe one.
Yeah, so you had him at 8, I had him at 7, I believe. So he stayed where he
he just went down one. He went down one.
Yeah.
Next, San Jose, they Besser. They need a scorer because I was thinking Pavelski, Torton, all those guys are getting old, so they need someone,
But see, that's crazy because I honestly did not think about that at all. I actually thought of it more after, like, oh, imagine these teams had these players.
Okay.
I just went with like, who would I pick flat out? Who do I think is a better player?
No worries.
But that's cool. That's that Florida with another defenseman, Ekblad and Orensky. Imagine that.
Yeah. Sorry, Colorado.
Shabbat. Yeah, Colorado with Shabbat. Imagine that.
Shabbat, McCarr,
Byron,
Gerard. Crazy top 4. You're set.
That's arguably the best top 4 I've ever seen in my life. That's unreal.
Then I put Rowinski again. I think these defensemen are pretty much dominating. They're almost a point a game players. They have to go either top 10 or like just right under. Yeah. I put Travis Konecny as 12. Good, solid two-way.
Yeah, we both had him at 12.
He's pretty much like the Gallagher of Philly.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass. He's in the corners grinding. Most of his goals are in front of the net. Good, hardworking player.
Yeah.
13, I put Timo Meier. Dropped quite 5. A bit for me.
Yeah, like us.
Still a solid player.
We had literally the same pick, 13.
Yeah, he's a top 6 forward.
Top 6. For sure. I'm surprised at your next one. I'm surprised at Emerson Ek.
Joel Eriksson Ek.
Is that because of you think he just has more potential that's not there yet? Is that why?
I've watched a couple of games of Minnesota. I really like him. They have no one down the middle. They have no one. It's him.
Well, I mean,
literally it's him.
It's his show now. Yeah.
He's carrying the team down the middle. It's crazy. There's he's so underrated.
He's a great player. Yeah. I think for me, I think he had too many games with not enough production. So I think he has the ceiling. So he's definitely a first round pick for me. I believe he's in my first round. If he's not, I'm gonna be very upset. No, he is in my first round, I believe. Actually, maybe he might not be. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see where he is. I don't remember where I put him, if I put him in there. But yeah, I think that was it for me. Is that he wasn't. I don't know. I think he just didn't produce fast enough. I think he still has the upside. I think it's still fine that he got drafted in the first.
He's an all around man. He could win the Selke one day. I think. Yeah,
that's a good estimation.
I think he does all the little details, right? Like he's very good in the face-off, good in the defensive zone.
Yeah,
good skater, protects the puck.
He's a great skater. Yeah, he's a great skater.
So, to me, he's a no-brainer to go at least in the top 15. Then I put
and Noah Hannafin. Again, a guy that went 4th overall.
Yeah, he dropped to 15.
Dropping for you to 15.
But that's
I haven't named him yet. He's not even in my top 15. So we did him pretty dirty, this poor guy.
It's not to say that he's a bad guy. He's a solid defenseman. Not. But it's just that this draft is so deep and there's so many superstars.
Yeah. There was a couple of guys that really just
it's crazy. So
but exactly. How can you take him over Shabbat? Like how can you take him over Pro? Like now I'm comparing him to
no offense right? Though. No offense.
How do you take him like maybe over Werenski, like maybe, but even then I can't because I have him higher than Shabbat, and I have Werenski higher than Shabbat. So
teams will take the risk of like being a little bit vulnerable on defense to know that he'll produce offensively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all right, let me see your next 10, and then I'll go to mine.
Yeah.
Or
okay. We'll do next 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So my next 10 is.
Tell me. Yeah, 16. There you go.
6 here.
Yeah, 16. That's perfect. Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, you need one more after that. It's okay. After the brush, you have one more.
Yeah, I'll go one more.
Okay. You just go one down.
So 16, I put Anthony Cicerelli. Yeah. I think he's just a sleeper in this draft.
Yeah, massive sleeper. I mean, he went up. Like I said, for me, he went up 58 picks. So he went up a full round. So teams passed on him twice. Like the whole NHL passed on him 2 times. Twice. So I mean, it's
crazy to think. I even wanted to put him higher, but then I was like,
I mean, there's not much higher. I mean, I put him at 14, and even that was like, that's high.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm actually pretty glad you have him up there. I didn't think you were gonna like him as much as I did. I thought you were gonna say like, oh, he plays with Tampa. And
no.
But
he's a solid player.
Yeah.
Solid. Next, I put Pavel Zacha.
Yeah.
He got drafted, I think,
top 10 for sure. I think it was. I'd have to
sixth
check.
overall. Sixth.
Actually, I'll actually show everybody the original draft, like the original order.
Yeah,
once we share my screen. Yeah.
He went sixth to New Jersey.
Man, it's pretty scary how like some players are in here that
Like,
I'm like,
he's a good-
like there's no way Franco thinks that they're the same place as I think they are, and then we end up at the same place. Like it's unreal. Like you'll see, it's crazy.
He's a good player, but I don't think he's a sixth overall, top 10 pick.
He still has upside. I mean, that's the
He's a
reason
good
he was a
player.
top 10.
Yeah,
He reminds me a bit of like Zadina a little bit.
yeah.
Like in that sense, he has a bit more. He's got a bit more flair that he can use, but it's not there yet. Like it's
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, I'm surprised by your next one. That's the one. That's the one for me that I think we're the most. I mean, he's definitely a first round pick, but not
put him
18th.
No, he surprised me this year. Like the way he played in Columbus, he was starting to come along. I know now it's a little like iffy, but
yeah.
If you saw the way he was playing, solid player. Like I think he could be a solid second line center. If he becomes the player that I think he could become, a guy who could, provide offense.
Yeah.
He has sick hands. He's
I mean, now with the trade,
Torts.
he's probably got. I was gonna say he's probably got a shot. I mean, if he's that responsible
type of,
defensively already, he's
the type of player that Tortorella loves.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like,
I mean, it shows he's playing now too. So.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of like a Brandon Dubinsky, but better offensively.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like that's what he could become.
Wow, you just pulled out like a 2012 name, and I was like, what? Yeah. No, Dubinsky. That's a pretty good comparable.
I think that's
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that.
My 19th, I put Garyanov.
Yeah.
Russian. I'm like, we'll drop him a little bit down.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't even remember.
I haven't watched him a lot.
I think he's in my honorable mentions. I don't think he's in my top 30 because just too long to develop.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really my. In comparison to some other guys,
I think he's a first, but I didn't want to.
I believe he did go in the first round, didn't he?
Yeah, he went pretty high. He went to Dallas, 12th overall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with him being a first round pick. But I mean, I feel like there's a lot of other guys I'd probably rather have because of just how solid they are, how many serviceable games they already have. So, Carlo at 20.
20th, Carlo. Again, he's another like Noah Hannafin, not a crazy like offensive defenseman.
Yeah.
But if you want someone who's reliable in your top 4, this is your guy.
Yeah, I really like him. Yeah,
he'll play his 18 to 20 minutes, solid.
Yeah,
every night.
And to be fair, I really liked Hannafin in juniors. Like I really liked watching him. His draft, the draft kind of that draft year. Not in juniors. Sorry, he played at where did he play?
Boston College.
Yeah, he didn't play juniors. He played
played or the U.S. development.
Boston College. Yeah, Boston College. I enjoyed watching him at BC. So. That was a guy that I thought was good because he was playing against men. He was pretty dominant.
I guess that's why he came in right away. That's why he came in right away.
Yeah, he was able. That's why he's able to play. I mean, if you want to see, I mean, he's got the. I know Hannafin has the most games played out of anybody in this draft, 424.
Crazy.
And I mean, 424 games in 5 seasons is pretty much every game of every season.
Yeah, it's a
like he's pretty much played almost every season, every game. So, I mean, that's a very, very serviceable NHL defenseman, if nothing else. If he's not a superstar, at least he's whatever. And Brandon Carlo, I think, has the same kind of reputation. Very serviceable NHL defenseman. Can play, like you said.
Just unlucky with injuries there, but...
Yeah, but he still has 200 and something games played. I mean,
he's been hurt now recently there, but...
Yeah. Rasmus Anderson, a little bit surprised about that one, too.
Yeah. He's another Carlo and Hannafin, solid defenseman for Calgary. He's I think he has a little bit more offensive potential than Carlo and Noah Hannafin. That's why he went 21st.
I think so too. Yeah.
Again, he just plays every night. Strong, reliable for Calgary. Literally, he's their future in the back end.
Yeah, I mean,
he's it. So that's why I put him up there. My 22nd, I left.
Well, I mean, granted, they have Noah Hannafin. It's not like they don't have Noah Hannafin.
Yeah, true.
So 2 guys from the same draft in Calgary there. But, different types of players, like
Yeah. So Samsonov, I don't really know much about him. He's a
I love
goalie.
him.
But I heard there's a lot of like
However,
potential.
Yeah, I noticed after I finished making my list that I do not have any goalies in my first round.
No?
No, I have none. Although I love Ilya Samsonov. I think he's got a lot of potential, but the guy's got. I mean, he's got less than 30 games played or less than 40 games played. I mean,
He's been on
there's not
fire,
much.
man,
There's
this
not
season.
enough to. There's not enough to.
No?
There
I
for
didn't
me
know
to say,
much.
yeah, for sure.
I didn't know much about him, and I'm like, I checked on this season. I'm like, he had pretty good stats this season. There's a lot of hype around him.
Yeah.
There's people. So
No, I think he's definitely a number one goaltender.
I said I'm just gonna leave him at 22nd. It's good that we're
I think that's where he got drafted.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's where
I think he was the only. I think he was the only goalie in the first round.
Yeah. Then my next pick was Mackenzie Blackwood. I've watched him play. I don't know why, but I love him. I like him. I think he's a good goalie. I think he'll become a good goalie. He'll become a solid starting goalie. No?
I mean, listen, I don't see him
on the
play
Devils.
I don't see him play enough, but I just I don't know. I think there's something missing. I think there's something missing.
Season.
I don't think he's bad. I think there's something missing that can get him
you
to
told
that.
Me you're the goalie. I don't know.
No, but I mean, like like I said, he's a good goaltender. I just don't know if he's like number one for a while. I mean, he could prove me wrong. I mean, 100% he could prove me wrong. Next year he could break out and just be super consistent. I mean, then you make me really look fucking stupid. So yeah. I mean, at 23, I guess that's fair. I mean, it's end of the round. You could take a chance with the goalie.
Take a chance.
I mean, unless there's like superstars like Fleury or Luongo or Price, those are the types of guys that get picked in the top 10 and all that. So I mean, it's fair to have guys in the lower end of the draft.
But that's why goalies go like probably like second, third, fourth, fifth a lot of times. Cause
if they have that prodigy style, yeah. But like I said, later in the draft, I mean, I can't blame you. Go ahead, Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah, Jake DeBrusk, I put him 24th. He dropped a lot. He's good, but I find he's very he's not consistent with the.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what?
He's up and down. He's very up and down with the Bruins.
Yeah, I guess.
But
I had him a lot higher. I had him at 15.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised you had him so high.
I mean,
but he's a good second line player, right?
I think it was production. I think that was for me. He produces at like 0.6 points a game, which is a lot better than pretty much anybody else that was in there. There's a guy that you haven't named that I'm very surprised that you haven't named, and I have a feeling he's next to the Canadians, but I'm not gonna say anything.
He's right after. You think I picked him with the Canadians?
I'm not sure if that's.
Let's see. Anyways, my last one. My last one. Really we'll see yours after this. Is my last one. Then
this is your last one. So Winnipeg, Colin White, great player. Oh no! You just gave it away.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't see.
That's okay.
Yeah, Colin White. I put to Winnipeg. Again, is another player where I was like, he's had a tough time developing.
It's.
But we've seen the flashes here and there. Again, a good. I think he's another guy responsible, like Jack Ross.
He's got some grit. Too.
Yeah, he's a dirty, in the corners. He'll grind it out. Two-way forward. He's good everywhere. So again, I said that's not a bad first round pick.
Yeah. Okay, let's turn me over the screen here so I can show everybody. First of all, let me show everybody what the actual draft looked like that year. So let me scoop this up here. This is actually what the draft looked like that year. Connor McDavid, Eichel, Dylan Strome, who has not been mentioned on either of our lists yet. Mitch Marner, Hanifin Zaka, who was later in your list, hasn't been mentioned on mine yet. Provorov, Renski, Meyer, Rantanen at 10. I mean, that's just a fucking steal and a half, man. Unreal. Lawson Krause. I mean, Lawson Krause, just the fact that he played 261 games, I believe he made my honorable mentions.
He's played games, but he's not a first round pick.
He's not a first round pick, in my opinion. Yeah, you're right. Then Denis Gurianov, I think the reason I didn't have him in my top 30, I believe, is because of just he only has a season and a half, maybe a full games. Zboril. He's
playing right now.
Thanks.
He's playing this season.
Yeah, DeBrusk, and then I don't even know who this is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name because I'm going to butcher it.
Zachary, whatever.
Yeah, Barzal.
Yeah,
great pick.
Barzal, 16th, wow.
Yeah, Kyle Connor at 17, Shabbat at 18. Those are 3 steals. Back to back, just steals.
Bang.
Yeah. Evgeny Svechnikov, which is the other Svechnikov's brother. It is. It's Andrei Svechnikov's
I
brother.
know.
Joel Eriksson Ek. That's. I mean, if he gets to be as good as you say, he's going to be, then I think this is why I didn't put him. I think it's just I didn't think he produced enough to be a first round pick, but I mean he's got games. I mean which is nice. Colin White, Ilya Samsonov stayed at 22. Brock Besser, another steal.
Wow.
Travis Konecny, another
Bang
steal.
bang.
Jack Roslovic, arguably a steal, I guess. Depending on how good he becomes. Noah Juleson for us. I thought he had such good potential.
I feel like you know what hurt him, man? Injuries.
Injuries, yeah, riddled with injuries. The poor guy.
Well, he got a really bad eye injury.
Yeah, that was what it was.
That's fuck, man.
He was a good skater.
You know what?
He hit a lot of people.
if I'm gonna say this, if the cap did not go down this year,
yeah, there was no way
he would run up.
Yeah,
he was our right-handed defenseman, Romanov. I think he was it.
Very possible that.
I think it was him, or it was going to be his partner.
Or that's what they were banking on. That's what they were banking on, maybe.
What?
Maybe he did. Maybe that's what they were hoping for, is that Juleson was going to be good enough to play on the bottom.
I think he was. I think he was going to be.
I don't know.
I would have gave him the shot, man.
I mean, he hasn't
20,
played.
He's 23 years old.
He hasn't played, man.
Well, there's a reason why.
I know. I'm just saying he hasn't played.
A lot of injuries.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't necessarily blame them if they didn't want to take a chance on getting injured and stuff like that.
Just sucks we lost him for free.
Yeah.
I always liked him.
Yeah. Jacob Larson.
Playing now with Anaheim.
Just a regular kind of defenseman.
He played. What did he play? Yeah, he was playing in Europe though. He just came over, so we don't know a lot.
I mean, he's got 146 games.
Yeah,
he's got a season and a half. Listen, anybody who plays for Finland typically does pretty well in the NHL if you're a first
as a defenseman.
Yeah, Anthony Bouvier, who I thought Anthony Bouvier was who you were gonna go with, but I'm not gonna spoil it if people didn't see who you chose with Montreal. That was my. I don't
know. No, I didn't.
That was my prediction. Then Gabriel Carlson and Nick Merkley, just two guys who don't play, who haven't played very much. But that's the original draft.
Yeah.
Let's head back to my next 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, we did 9 because I think we went to 25 because I did want to leave the Habs as like the next.
Yeah,
the next reveal. So let's go to
wow.
Let's go to who are you surprised with? What name?
Crazy.
What name jumped out?
Bolivier? No, Bolivier. So high.
Bolivier, yeah.
Yeah, even Kaprizov.
Yeah, those. I mean, like Dylan Strome.
That too is a Connor Garland. That's a whoa out of left field.
Connor Garland puts up a point every 2 games. Plays in Arizona.
Stinker town.
But this, I mean, really, the reason I put him there is because I've seen him skate. I think he has very good skating potential. And I always say it, the first thing you look at besides, hockey sense or being able to be coached and stuff like that is skating. And I think Connor Garland has it. So yeah, there you go. I mean, there's my next 10. 16 Beauvillier. I love the player. Honestly, I love the player. That's why I thought, I mean, I think he's, you're going to laugh, but he's kind of a drawing type of player. I think that's the kind of, he's got the skill, he's got the passing. I think he's got a better shot than
I feel like he's better.
Does.
He's better defensively.
Yeah, and he is better defensively. So I think that being said, I mean, Drouin is one of our better point producers. I mean, and Drouin went 3rd overall. So I mean, I don't see why Beauvillier can't be in the top, 20. I really would have liked him to slip into the hands of the Montreal Canadiens, and it would have been a nice the Habs picked Beauvillier at 26, which still could happen in yours. But I don't take anybody else over him in this position. I mean, none of these guys are going over Anthony Beauvillier, in my opinion. He has I think he has a lot more offensive upside that he hasn't tapped yet.
He struggled this year.
It has to do with, I think, the system he's playing in. But, either way, Beauvillier, he went to the Islanders, but 12 picks up. So instead of the Barzal pick, basically, they get Beauvillier at that position. Kaprizov, I think he's unbelievable. Like I was telling you before, he played in Russia, and the reason I have him there, I believe he went in the fifth round.
Yeah,
there he is. I mean, the reason I put him in here is just, I mean,
Yeah, look at this
he's been
KHL.
playing. First of all, he's been playing against men since he was 17. So right away, the guy's, he's 5'9", but he's fucking 201. We're 5'9", 201, and it's not fat either. Like this, he's I mean, he's born 5 days after me, literally 5 days after me, in the same year and everything. But yeah, so I mean, just look at his last 3 seasons of Moscow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, unbelievable point per game pace.
Yeah.
Against men in the KHL, and I mean, it came over, it translated. The reason I put him up there is because he's got unreal upside, and I never saw him play before this year. Okay, like a lot of these guys, I've seen them play.
Yeah,
a lot of the guys,
neither.
a lot of the guys that played in the first round, like especially the Canadian kids and the American kids, I've seen them.
Yeah, we've seen them in juniors.
Either we played against them when we were really small, like like Beauvillier, when I was really really small, I played against them. But like some of these guys, I've seen them play live. I've seen them skate. Kaprizov, I've never seen him play.
Yeah, because he was in Russia.
Seen him play this year. Look at his edges. Unbelievable, his edges.
Yeah, he's 6.
He's unbelievable. So that's why I put him up here. Noah Hannafin, again, serviceable defenseman, 422 games is what I'd like to highlight there. Pavel Zacha, nothing crazy. Dylan Strome, I still think he produces. It's not like he doesn't produce. And he's a centerman. So I think he's finally getting into the, okay, I'm going to be playing as a centerman, and I'm going to be good 2 ways.
He's having a tough season this year, man. 7 points in 22 games.
I still think he's got room to grow.
For a third overall pick, 7 points.
Yeah, but that's why he's not third.
Yeah,
that's why he's not third anymore. I mean, he's down 17 picks. I mean, it's big. Brandon Carlo, Vince Dunn, right after each other. I feel like it's the same kind of player, but Vince Dunn just an unbelievable skater.
Yeah,
if you see Vince Dunn skate, that's a guy that I would.
He's like a bigger version of Mete.
Yeah, I would love for, and he hits pretty well too. Rope Hintz, I believe he's in and around this. Oh no, he's not actually.
He went third. He went third.
Yeah, he was in the second round.
Yeah,
second round. But I thought he could have been a lot higher. I mean, I've seen him play. He's got a great shot.
Yeah.
And you just see, he does things that not a lot of people I see can do with the puck. So for that reason, pretty much alone, I put him there. Connor Garland, kind of an underrated pick here. I can understand why you're surprised about that.
Yeah,
but
that's a
again,
shocker.
Guy produces and he skates really well. So I think with 150 games. He's good there. Colin White, I'm pretty sure you had him in pretty much the same place. Place.
Yeah.
So 25th. Again, serviceable player, good centerman, grit.
Has that grit too, like you said.
Before we get to the last 5, I'm gonna do my honorable mentions because I don't think you did any, right?
No, I didn't do any.
Okay, that's okay. So I have these guys, 8 of them. The reason these 2 guys are in here is because I played against them.
Yeah.
So that's why they're in here, and they're guys that can play in the NHL, I believe. Wingers, Sprong and Joseph.
Yep.
Gaudette, centerman, plays pretty well both ends of the ice. Cernak and Dermott are pretty serviceable defensemen. Cernak. I don't even know why I'm saying it either, but. And Dermott plays with Toronto, 186 games. He's got the most out of all these honorable mentions. So it's.
They're all after.
This is no particular order. I put him in. I actually ordered them in terms of points per game. Andrew Mangiapane could easily have been in my top 30 because I like the way he plays. But he got squeezed out by these last couple guys. Do you want me to go or do you want to?
Yeah, go finish. We're here. So
okay.
I don't want to end it off with me.
Here we go. That's who we get, which I'm pretty sure you'd be pretty happy with. This is unreal. If we're gonna be honest,
I was looking at it.
This was my surprise of the time.
Wow, Marcus Navarro.
Navarro. So
Greenway.
Eric Shanek isn't. Yeah, Greenway. He's a beast. You ever seen him play? It's a beast.
Yeah, but he's
huge. He's huge. I think he's got great skating for the size that he is, and
but he's gonna be like that.
Games.
He won't get better, right? That's who he is.
Maybe.
He's like a Brady Tkachuk.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like the ceiling might already.
The ceiling's done. Like there's no.
I don't. Yeah, but I understand why. How many other guys you take above him in this position? Maybe Mangiapane. Like who? Who in these? Which, in my opinion, are probably the best of the rest.
I don't know,
more or less. Who do you put over Greenway? Like I don't know. Troy Terry, I think, has a lot more potential that he has not tapped yet. This is a guy that had hands for days, pretty much. So I mean, there's a couple guys here that could probably make their way above Greenway, but I mean, Greenway's 28. I mean, he's end of the round.
Yeah.
You know, it's
No,
somebody
I
that
get
I
it.
that I don't, you know, and I think really what also had to do with it is that he was late second round. So like, oh, this guy could easily be higher up in the pick. I mean, he could have easily been like the third pick of the second round, and nobody would have like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, you know. So I mean, in here, I mean, once you get down below 25, Rasmus Anderson's my last pick of the round. Now you have him higher because I guess maybe you've seen him play more this year, right?
Yeah.
Because of the Canadian division. Yeah, he's still up 23. I mean, and look at that, man.
Montreal.
That's Roslovic. That's what Montreal gets. I would have honestly, it's a player I would have loved to have.
Yeah.
Kind of he's basically right now what we want Paling to be.
Yeah,
that's kind of how what I think of when I think of Roslovic. I'm like, oh, Roslovic is the player now that in 2 years from now I hope the Paling
becomes,
you know, or a year from now.
Look, he's playing good, and he's playing good, so hopefully he continues.
Yeah, I mean, and again, all of these guys except Kaprasov, all of these guys have over 180.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I mean, aside from these two guys, pretty much everybody has over 180 games played. So, that's my 30. I mean, I'd be happy with Roslovic.
Solid
For the Habs.
Couple of
and to be
shockers.
honest, and yeah, I feel like for some reason I'm more shocking than you. I honestly thought you were gonna have a more shocking list than me. I'm like, this is makes sense to me. I mean, how many guys you take over that? What I kept doing over and over again is just going, okay, McDavid, Eichel, Marner, Rantanen, Aho. Okay, who do I take above Aho? I don't take anybody above Aho. Okay, who do I take above Rantanen? Do I take No, I take.
Yeah,
okay.
I did a bit of both.
And it's always who do I take above? Who do I take above? Who do I take above? I think the reason yours is different is because you looked at Philly. Philly would have needed this. Okay,
but
makes sense.
I did a bit of both. Like
yeah. No, I understand. But anyways, it's cool. It's cool the way you did your list, and I think the way we did ours. I think honestly, I would really love to do another one of these.
Oh, we're for sure gonna do another year.
Like a crazy one would be 2003. Like that'd be an unreal draft to redo. But
like I want to do like a shitty year so that we could see like
like a Galchenyuk year, like a Yakupov year. That'd be a good one. We can do that one too. I'm sure there's some hidden gems in there that probably move up like 60 spots.
Yeah.
Like 5 guys in a row move up like 60 spots or something. You know. I can easily see that happening. But I mean that's my last 5. Let me see your last 5. Let me let you share the screen here.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna call it because it's already been 50 something minutes here. We're running.
Shit.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I wanted to make sure we.
Here it is. My last 5.
Oh man, why couldn't you just give us Beauvillier, man?
No, I don't know. I didn't.
Damn it.
So I gave Montreal Vince Dunn.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they drafted Jolson with that pick. So obviously I was like thinking, okay, Montreal needed a defenseman.
Yeah.
So and then I was looking at defensemen.
That'd be an unreal. I'd love to have that on my team.
I was like Travis. I was looking at Travis Dermott, Eric Chernak.
Hey, he made it into your top 30.
Yeah.
Travis Dermott. So.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? It's Vince Dunn. I think he's the best one out of them. He goes 26.
Yep, I think so too. I think that's the pick.
Next, I have Rope Hintz at 27th. Like we said, he's just good all around.
Yeah.
Surprised he went in the second round, to be honest. He's actually really good. I watched Dallas quite a bit. Solid player. Boulevier. I think he's good where he was. I think he's a good first round pick.
Yeah, makes sense. Dude, I just think he has so much offensive upside. And I guess maybe that's because I've seen him with my own eyes. Like I've practiced on the ice with him. So like I'm like, okay. But I don't know. I'd probably buy it.
With the Islanders, I feel like he, I don't know, he's more.
Yeah, like maybe with imagine him playing like.
Yeah, with another team, you know.
Somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I put Travis Dermott, solid defenseman, reliable,
serviceable.
In your top 6. Like in the late round, I don't think you expect a first line player as 29th overall.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
top 9, top 4. You're happy. Top 6. You're like, okay, well at least he can play in the NHL. That's solid minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, if Travis Dermott's on your third pair.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think you're okay. You know.
And then my last pick, I put Kaprizov. I was literally about to leave him out.
I saw him and I was like, "Fuck, I can't leave him out of here." I put him a lot higher than you.
Look, I know, like you were saying, he played 6 years in the KHL and he dominated, but this is the NHL. It's not the KHL.
Yeah, but man, the KHL is a good fucking league, man.
Yes, but there's a difference.
Yeah,
there's a difference. So I was like. Yeah,
the question is, can he keep doing this?
I didn't see enough. That's why. So I was like, you know what? I didn't see enough. I'm not gonna leave him out, but since he's having a good year, I'm gonna put him the last one, 30th overall. And I think for a Russian to go 30th overall, especially that he's unknown and he played in Russia, a lot of teams are scared. That's why he went in the 5th round, because a lot of teams didn't want to take him because we don't know if he's gonna come over.
Yeah, you don't even know if he's going to come over. Yeah, that's a lot of the Russian players who played KHL since they were 17.
Yeah,
like there's a couple guys that didn't play in the KHL that like, okay, you know that, okay, they'll probably come over, and if they don't, then they'll go back to Russia. But there's guys like this that okay, well,
yeah,
that's like Radulov too. Like Radulov came to play in Quebec, but like you knew that he liked the KHL. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
but like the reason like people are scared to pick Russians is because they're playing in Russia since they're 16. They're not getting, I don't think, an entry-level contract.
No, I don't. Probably not. Yeah.
I highly doubt it. So for this guy to leave there and leave, let's say he's making, I don't know, fucking 2 million euros, 3 million euros as maybe like a 20-year-old that's scoring. Let's just say 20, that's scoring machine, and he has to come here and restart,
learn the language,
restart, and make like 900,000. The guy's gonna be like, "Fuck that! I'm staying here."
Yeah. So it's possible. I mean, I understand why people would stay there too. I mean, especially if you're Russian. I mean, if you're not Russian, you go to the KHL because you don't make it to the NHL, right? That's usually the thing, right? And I honestly do think the KHL is the second best league in the world. I don't think it's a question. I think the KHL.
I don't know. I say Sweden.
I think the KHL is better than Sweden.
Yeah.
Personally, yeah. But anyway, either way, I think Kaprizov's got to be in here. I think he's got to be in your top in your first round if you redraft.
I put him in the first round. I put him
because there's nobody. I mean, again,
Arizona's happy. Look, hey, I gave a nice gift to Arizona.
I
could have been a dick.
Would have had a lot of
good
good players.
Someone.
I mean, you think about it. In this case, I mean, nobody in this round is upset, right? When you do redrafts, that's the beauty of it. Is nobody in the first round is upset.
If we do like a PowerPoint presentation to all 30 NHL general managers at this time,
I'd be like, look how many people you passed on. Yeah, of course. And it's not only the Habs. I mean, the Habs could have had Vince Dunn on yours and Roslovic on mine. Those are two great players.
Yeah.
But also other guys. I mean, there's other teams, especially Boston, with 3 picks in the first round. Timo Meier, Cirelli, and DeBrusk for me. And I forget you have Meier, Eriksson, and Hannafin. I mean, that's
disgusting.
Massive difference to what they had in the first round. They kind of shot the bed in the first round, which goes back to, is it drafting or is it development? So that's another conversation we can have for another time.
I think the first round is like it's drafting. You have to look at the player.
Yeah, I guess. Because, but I mean, there are guys that don't pan out. I mean, there's plenty of guys that were in the first round that just didn't pan out, especially in this draft. I mean, you look at the other guy by Boston, Senishin.
I don't know.
I believe is his name.
He's playing with their AHL team now.
Svechnikov, who just started basically this year playing in NHL.
Yeah.
Samsonov only has 36 games. Jolson only has 48 games. Gabriel Carlson, Merkley, those guys have less than 50 games played. So there's some guys in the first round that just didn't.
That happens. It happens.
So
I didn't put Dylan Strome. If you notice, he's out.
Yeah, actually, he's out of the first round, which is crazy to me because he still has more career points and more career games than most of the other guys that are on.
I don't know. To me, he's a good second.
I like the player. I like the player, and I think he's got more upside that he hasn't touched yet.
The hype that was around him, I took that in consider because I watched him in the World Juniors. That was also
because of his brother. Yeah, I mean both Stromes. I mean, actually, I think Dylan's older.
No, Ryan.
Really?
Ryan is. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan was
with the Rangers.
Ryan is Rangers now, right? Yeah, Ryan's older. Yeah. So I mean, I remember when Ryan was the big thing, and I think that coming from a hockey family, I think that's probably what gave them the idea of, okay, this guy's like I can't miss. Yeah. When you have guys that are that good, it
happens.
Even, like Svechnikov is a good example too.
Yeah, his brother.
His brother's younger even.
Yeah, he's sick.
Right, and he's better than him.
Yeah.
Like unreal. Like imagine that. Like you're like, oh, this is a can't miss draft, and I mean. I honestly was like a little bit, he might not be that good, but Svechnikov's just been unreal. I mean, that whole The whole Carolina team's just been unreal this year for the most
Underrated.
part.
They're underrated. I find they're very underrated.
I think it has to do with their goaltending too. I don't think they have the most solid goaltending in the world, but it's what it is.
Yep.
Hey, we made it past the hour mark. So
Wow.
those of you who made it past the hour mark with us, thank you for sticking around.
Wild.
We'll do another one of these. Maybe we'll do like a dedicated episode of just the drafts, and then like so that we don't have to do the recaps at the beginning. So it'll be a little bit shorter for everyone. But hey, F1 tomorrow morning. Habs should be playing on Tuesday.
Hopefully. Fingers
big
crossed.
game with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers going on right now. I'm not sure if it's finished.
It was 3-1 at one point. It was 3-1 Edmonton.
Matthews gives Maple Leafs OT winner.
Get the fuck out.
Yep, yeah. So looks like Toronto
That was the worst
came back in that one.
That was the worst possible ending because both teams got a point.
Give Edmonton a point and make Toronto get a win. Yeah, that's horrible for us. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, we're gonna have like 10 games on each team.
It is what it is. Yeah, we currently have at least 5 games pretty much on every team. So we'll see what happens this week in Habs news, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for sticking around,
guys.
We are the Sports Junkies. Follow us on Twitter as Junkies Pod.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week. All right. Thanks a lot.
Take it easy.
See you, Frank.